Hey guys, I'm Jordan and you're watching Fixbook. But 10 seconds before we get started, I made this video to help you, so please help me if it helps you. It only takes a second or two. It's a great help if you subscribe, like, and or leave a comment down below. That's it. Let's get started. So today I'll be showing you how to replace your front brakes on your 2001 through 2006 Hyundai Elantra. Now I've done this video in the past, but before I used an older, crappier camera, and today I'm using a newer, nicer camera, and I also know how to make videos better. So this video will improve your watching experience. And the first thing we're going to do today is go ahead and break your lug nuts loose. Then we're going to lift up the car and then finish shaking your lug nuts off. And here in just a second I'll show you where to put your jack stands and your jack, where to jack up on. For today's project I used a 21mm lug nut removing tool, a jack, and you need jack stands, and a 3/8 ratchet, an extended 3/8 ratchet, a 17mm socket, a 14mm socket, a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, a big old C-clamp. I used an old brake pad, and then I used some high temperature brake grease and a 32-ounce hammer. Now, a good place to lift the car is right here at this little toe mount area. Then a good place to set your jack stands would be over here, and right on that little welded area right there, where you can see where it would be a good spot to put a jack stand. The lug nuts are 21mm. Now, once you've got your wheel off, we're going to come over to the side of the caliper, and we're going to remove these two 14mm caliper bolts. Now, once you've got your two caliper bolts out, we're going to go ahead and slip this caliper off. And we're just going to set them off here to the side on top of the disc. Okay guys, and the next thing you'll do is get these pads off. And before we put new pads or take our rotor off, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and measure this rotor for minimum thickness. Now, the minimum thickness measurement for this rotor is 22.4mm. So you're going to take a set of calipers that reach around this little rust lip right here. You're going to crunch them down on there. Then I like to tighten my thing and then slide it off there. I'm going to look at it, and right now we are above 23mm. So this one's good to go. And as you can see, it's really smooth. It doesn't have any bumps. So as long as yours is the same, then your rotor should be fine to go back on. The next thing we'll do is we'll come to the back of the rotor, and we're going to take this caliper bracket bolts off, and we're going to take this bracket right here off so we can take the rotor off. Okay guys, so now we're going to come over to the back side of the rotor. It's going to look like that, and we're going to go ahead and get to these mounting bolts right here. We'll take these off and then I'll get the bracket off. So these are 17mm bolts, and a good long ratchet really helps because they're on there pretty good. And then I kind of like to, oh there we go, I like to hit on it because it's easier than just trying to push down real hard. So now as you're seeing me take off this last bolt here, you'll see this bracket will just come on down like so. Alright guys, and the last thing you'll do is you can go ahead and get these two screws out. And this one tried to give me a little bit of trouble, but I loosened it up, as you can see. So what you'll do though, if it does give you trouble, if you don't have an impact screwdriver, what you can do is you can take a flathead screwdriver like this, and then take a 32-ounce hammer like this, and then just go ahead and tap on it in the left direction. And you may have to tap on a little bit harder than that, but go ahead and beat it pretty good, and then that'll loosen up good enough so that you can take it off like I'm right here. Okay guys, and once you've got both of those off, go ahead and get this last screw off. The rotor will just come right off there. Well, it should. Might have to use both hands there. And then there you go. You can now put your new rotor or resurfaced rotor on there. Okay, so now for the reinstall process. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy back on, and make sure your screw holes line up, because you can put it on in the wrong way. So I got those lined up. Now the messed up screw I'm not going to put back in, because all these screws really do is line up the rotor, and they kind of hold it there flush. So it's not really 100% necessary to even have them on there. I drive my Civic with no screws in, so it's gonna hold it in there nice and flush. So that's good. That's just fine how it is. Next, we're gonna take that bracket, get your bracket back on there. It goes back on the same way it came off, and then I'll show you what you need to do for putting your new brake pads back on. Okay guys, and real quick, I'm gonna show you a trick here. If you're like me and you didn't pay attention to how the pads came off, I'm gonna show you a trick as to how you would know which side the brake pad with the wear indicator came off and will go back on. So this is the wear indicator side, and if you didn't pay attention, you can turn them over and look at the backs of them. Now we see that this side has this little round type hill thing on it right there, and this side has the circular thing right there on it. So that's the piston impression where the piston is clamped down on, and that would be the other side of the brake. So the piston is on the inside edge of the rotor, so this one's going to go on the inside and your regular pad is going to go on the outside. Okay, and once you've got your new pads here, what you're going to do is match up the two brake pads which have the wear indicator on the same side. So make sure we're going to pick this one out of those two and make sure we use this one on the same side we took this one off of. Okay guys, and the last thing you got to do with these new brake pads is take you some high temperature brake grease, and we're just going to apply it here, and get you a little dab right there. So what this is going to do is it's going to prevent squeaking and other bad stuff when this is in its place in its little bracket and it's moving back and forth. It's going to prevent squeaking, and it's going to make it glide smoother. It's going to do all kinds of cool things. So make sure you put some brake grease on these areas right here so that it does what it needs to do and works properly. Okay, and there's one more prep thing that we must do here. You're going to take one of your old brake pads, you're going to set it here in front of the piston, and then you're going to take a C-clip and you're going to get it behind the piston and in front of that old brake pad, and then you're going to twist and you're going to kind of slowly compress that piston back in, because when you put the new pads back in, there's going to be a lot more braking material, the lining material, and this caliper won't fit over the new pads if you don't do this because of the new brake lining material. So there we go, I'm all the way in. So I'm going to just back off it a little bit, take my thing off there, and you can see that the piston has been compressed all the way back in. So we'll go ahead, put the new pads back in, slide this caliper back on, tighten everything back up, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so here I'm putting the pads back in, and remember the one without the wear indicator goes in the front, like so, and then your other one with the indicator, and the indicator will be on the top for your passenger side, or it's going to go in the back here, like so. Then we're just going to slip the caliper back on over here, and we're going to make sure these caliper slide pins are moving back freely, and as you can see, they're moving very freely. And what you'll do if they're not moving freely is you'll go ahead and pull them out. You're going to pull this rubber boot off, and then you'll pull this off too, like so, and then you'll wipe it down and put some new high temperature brake grease on there. Just kind of apply some like so, get it over there nice and good, make sure all the dirt and crap is off there. Go ahead and put your rubber thing back on. Just gonna slip over there, and then you just stick it back in there. So once you've got that done, we can go ahead and set this right over top here, and there we go. You're gonna push it over that. Then you might have to pull this pin down there. Go ahead and grab your caliper bolts, stick them in there, and you tighten those up, and you're good to go. Well, once you got everything tightened up, you're good to go. That's all you've got to do. The other side is the exact same way. Just remember to get inside of your car, pump the brakes. You're going to feel the brake pedal go all the way down. Pump it up until you feel it tighten up. Because if you don't do that, you're going to start up your car, try and get going, and then you're either going to hit what's in front of you or what's behind you, because you'll hit the brakes and the pedal will go all the way down to the floor and you're not going to stop. So make sure to do that last important step before you attempt to drive somewhere. That's it for today. I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Well guys, unfortunately that's all the time I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video just as much as I did making it. And fortunately, you can catch me again right here on Fixbook tomorrow on my next video. Just don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave lots of comments down below. Well, thanks again guys for watching, and see you tomorrow right here on Fixbook.